How we doing? How we doing? This is Destination Denver, Colorado, and today, living in Highlands Ranch, Colorado, the good, the bad, the ugly, we're covering it starting right now. All right, this is Destination Denver, Colorado. I am your host, Jimmy Everett, and listen, if you're interested in learning all the ins and outs, pros and cons to moving to or around Denver, Colorado, then this is a channel for you. So that subscribe button and notification icon popping up on your screen, make sure you click on that as I'm dropping new videos for you each and every week. And listen, as much as I try to be a little creative here on camera, I'm also a licensed mortgage broker covering the entire state of Colorado and team with some of Denver's most talented realtors. So the number and email you see on your screen, know that I am always the person answering your phone calls, answering your texts, answering your emails, there when and if you need me. Now that we're done with all that fun-filled stuff, let's get to what we're here for, and that is living in Highlands Ranch, all the things you need to know, good, bad, ugly. All right, so Highlands Ranch, located basically southwest of Denver. And Highlands Ranch is Highlands Ranch is the original planned development of the Denver area. Founded in 1981, a group of folks started building homes down at Highlands Ranch, and it didn't really pick up steam until the 90s, but it's founded in 1981, first homes get built. Around 1985, they bring in good old C-470, which is a major highway for us. And if you're in the Highlands Ranch area, chances are you're using that highway to get towards Denver and to the Denver Tech Center, or you are using it to head west and get into the mountains. So 1985, in comes C-470. Once that happens, as I mentioned, in the 90s, as I was in middle school and high school, because I'm an old man, that's when you really start to hear about Highlands Ranch. And the population from 1990 to 2000 goes from a little over 10,000 to a little over 70,000. They had massive growth in Highlands Ranch during that time. And it became the quintessential suburban neighborhood that people wanted to go to. And it was, at least from a native's perspective, listening to it grow and watching who was moving down there, an affluent region, right? It was very well desired. So the price point was always higher, but families wanted to be there. So why is Highlands Ranch so desirable? So when we talk about planned developments, you talk about a community in which they think about all the ways that they can essentially keep people within the community, that you don't have to leave for any of your amenities or any of the things you want to do. Now, Highlands Ranch itself is what we call a metro district. You can think about it as though it were one big HOA. Everyone within that community is going to pay some level of fees, and that fee, or that association due, is going to cover things like groundskeeping, trash management. So you know that within Highlands Ranch, and we're going to talk about how much common ground and how much open space there is, you know it's going to be taken care of, and it has been for decades. Highlands Ranch remains a very pretty community. So within this, you have 4 big rec centers at each corner of Highlands Ranch. Again, part of this whole metro district, this whole plan. It doesn't matter where you live in Highlands Ranch. You're going to be 5 to 7 minutes away from your grocery store, your shop, your barbershop, the things that you want. They thought through all of this in a very good way. We talked about that open space. Highlands Ranch is home to 2,500 acres of open space. It's home to 75 miles of trails. It's home to 25 parks. And on the west side of town, you've got the Highlands Ranch Town Center. So all of these things built in a way so that whatever you want to go get something to eat, it's there. You need to go shopping, you don't have to go very far. You want something to do, you want to go get some exercise, or maybe you got kiddos, you want to take them to swim, you've got a rec center. You got your movie theaters everywhere. You want to go outside and go play at a park, or hit a trail for a run or a bike ride. It's all there. Now, this has, a couple cons. We talked about good, bad, and ugly. So the drawback, if you will, is that, again, being that there are HOAs so prevalent within these communities, Highlands Ranch is going to have a say in some of the things you do. Now, you're probably not watching this video because you think you're going to paint your house hot pink, but maybe you are. The HOA would have something to say about it. But Highlands Ranch is probably not the area where you're going to park a fifth wheel on the street. I mean, those type of things, absolute control. You might get a letter from time to time if you leave your trash can outside too long. But honestly, I get that from my neighbors here in Lakewood, so maybe it's not that bad. The funniest drawback I hear about Highlands Ranch, and we'll talk about some others, but from friends, clients, associates that I've had move there, they talk about the Highlands Ranch bubble effect. So they did such a good job of creating this community in which everything you need is right there. So there are people that don't leave Highlands Ranch, especially people who don't have to leave Highlands Ranch for work. Maybe they work remotely or they actually work, in that community, like Children's Hospital there in Highlands Ranch, which we're going to talk about, a big employer. So there's people who literally only leave Highlands Ranch a handful of times a year unless they're on a vacation, and that bubble effect is real. So Highlands Ranch is part of Douglas County Schools, and when we talk about school districts that are highly rated, Douglas County is among the best. It's technically rated second as of the last time I saw on Niche.com, second to Boulder Valley Schools. Cherry Creek School District would probably have something to say about that, but Douglas County, very high regarded. And Highlands Ranch is also home to the STEM school, science, technology, engineering, and math. So a very good school, becoming more and more popular. That is right there in Highlands Ranch. And Highlands Ranch is also home to Valor Christian, one of the bigger high schools in the area. And if you are a football player, or you are, I should say, you're raising a football player and you're moving to Colorado, Valor Christian, they pretty much whoop everybody's butt. Between Valor Christian and Cherry Creek, they're just stomping people year after year after year. They got one hell of a program. I don't know if I should say one hell of a program about Valor Christian, but you get what I'm saying. So again, we talk about, some minor drawbacks about Highlands Ranch, or maybe they're not minor for you, but one of the bigger drawbacks about Highlands Ranch is the fact that they're out of room. So you're not going to see new construction in Highlands Ranch. That has ceased. They did so much building, and there's some amazing homes and some amazing neighborhoods that we're going to talk about, but they did so much so that there are no new home constructions occurring in Highlands Ranch. And because of that, and because it is still one of the most desirable communities that you're going to find, that routinely keeps their price points among the highest in the Denver region. It's part of the reason that you'll see a lot of people who will start to look at Highlands Ranch, and a lot of people targeting those will move to other communities like Littleton, which is nearby. They'll head farther south to Castle Rock because they need to get value somewhere. Highlands Ranch is just always consistently the first option for most people, and then they tend to branch off into others. And that's why you're going to see a community where last year, looking at some numbers, low price ranges for detached homes. I mean, there was a couple for around $700K. Otherwise, you were looking at price points well into the multiple millions. Now, Highlands Ranch is broken into some different neighborhoods, and I kind of chuckle about this because they're all ridges. You got West Ridge, North Ridge, South Ridge. I zoomed in on the map. I asked, apparently there is no East Ridge. Somebody may watch this and go, yeah, you dummy, it's the east part of Highlands Ranch, but you don't see it on a map the same way you see east, north, and south. So you got those ridges. You also have Central Park, very cool area, right in the heart of things. Central Park was built, a few years ago. I shouldn't say built a few years ago. They did some renovations a few years ago, did some things in the neighborhood, and made it very walkable. You got some cool shops, some cool restaurants, some locally owned businesses. Colorado is very much a buy local, stay local, work local type of place. So that was huge for them. Highlands Ranch is also home to a very cool Veterans Memorial. It's one of the things that I enjoy going to Highlands Ranch and seeing. As a veteran myself, obviously, I have a lot of respect for communities that take appreciation of that, treat their veterans well. Highlands Ranch gets very good marks for the way they treat their veterans. And then I was reinforced by some clients that I had moved there that I got to talk about the Backcountry community there in Highlands Ranch. It's a gated community, 4,000 homes, which is pretty impressive. You don't see a lot of communities with that many homes in it. My understanding, the majority of those were built by Shea Homes, but you've got some homes by Richmond, Toll Brothers. You obviously, it's an affluent area. You had some custom builders come in, build some homes, but Backcountry, one of the most desired parts. So you already have Highlands Ranch, highly desired. I'm just gonna say desired a lot in this video. But you have Highlands Ranch, a lot of people wanna move there. And then within Highlands Ranch, you have the Backcountry community, which is desired within Highlands Ranch. So it's like double D's, desired, desirable, all that stuff. And to me, when I drive through Backcountry, what I find kind of impressive about it is, there's a lot of times where you drive through these new communities or these, the way these planned communities are, and it feels like the houses are just like right up against each other. As though, hey Tom, let me borrow your salt, and all you have to do is reach out his window. It feels like the lot sizes, they're not massive, but you've got a decent lot size. There's some good open space throughout the community. And I think the builders did, again, humble opinion, I'm a mortgage lender, not a real estate agent, but I think they did a good job of creating some contrast amongst the properties. So as you're driving through the community, it's just not same. I do think, to get a little off track, that Highlands Ranch has kind of a blanket look to it. I don't think there's one part of Highlands Ranch that drastically looks different from another part of Highlands Ranch, just because it was all kind of developed in a similar time frame and by similar companies. But the homes don't have that same, exact same vibe to them. And obviously Backcountry, you can't call a community Backcountry without having a lot of open spaces, a lot of trails, a lot of homes that will open to green space. HOA fees for those communities do tend to be a bit higher than other communities. Again, you're gated community, so you're paying for security, you're paying for the shoveling, the snow removal services that happen within those. So the price point's going to be higher, the cost to live there is going to be higher, but I mean, for what it's worth, according to the peeps that keep telling me I need to talk about it, it's worth it to them, might be worth it to you. In Highlands Ranch, being on that southwest side of town, there are certain neighborhoods. Highlands Ranch has, a lot of hills to it. So obviously, if you're at the bottom of a hill, your mountain views might not be the best. But if you're towards the top or, kind of over the peak of some of these hills, you get some of the best views of the mountains and the snow caps and that, just that visual in Highlands Ranch. Again, like a lot of things, having those best views are going to be a premium for some of the houses there. But you also get to enjoy those views as you're enjoying the trails and the nature of Highlands Ranch. And you're very close to some of the coolest hikes that you can go on. So just enjoying that nature, enjoying the west side of town, and the fact that you've got the mountains right there, big deal. At least it's a big deal to me. And if you're gonna go to Highlands Ranch, you should probably check out the Highlands Ranch Mansion, which was built before 1981. It was, before the town itself was founded. But a big attraction, a big draw, something that people who go to the Highlands tend to check out. Now, if I was gonna talk about one last drawback of Highlands Ranch, and this is gonna kind of depend on where you are as far as the community itself, but I mean, if you are working in Denver, you can anticipate that you probably have, say, roughly a 45-minute drive to Denver. I will always say, when I talk about drive times, I tend to be conservatively on the high side. I don't want to tell you that a drive is 30 minutes. You move out here, it takes you an hour, and you're like, Jimmy, you are an a-hole. But 45 minutes, 50 minutes is pretty safe there. Now, depending on, again, where you are within Highlands Ranch, you might be 2-3 minutes from getting on C470, which then, again, pretty much the quickest route to get to other interstates and other fast track ways to get into Denver or the tech center, or you could be as many as 8 to 10 to 12 minutes away. So just plan on a longer commute to get to Denver, and when traffic is bad, getting to Highlands Ranch or leaving Highlands Ranch can be annoying as can be, but I'll be real with you, I don't know of many communities in the Denver metro area where traffic isn't at least a little annoying. All in all, there is a reason that Highlands Ranch has been one of the highest pecking order communities in all of Denver for going on 30 years. The town itself has been in existence for over 40. And that is because it's got a whole heck of a lot going for it. Cool communities, well thought out, great trails, great community, good people for the most part. I say the most part like I know any bad ones. So definitely one that you want to consider. And if you are considering it, that's a perfect time to hit me up. We can have a conversation about it. So that number and email popping up below, I'm always the person answering those phone calls, answering those texts, answering those emails, there when in if you need me. This is Destination Denver, Colorado. I am your host, Jimmy Everett. That was Living in Highlands Ranch, the good, the bad, the ugly. You have it. Until I see you next time, peace.